Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the We Got It podcast. We are your hosts, Jonah and Abby, and the We Got It podcast is an official podcast of Spartans Illustrated. So if you haven't checked over the site yet, please do so. There's tons of great Michigan State content over there in video format, in written format, in discussion format. So pretty much
all the formats.
Any medium that you would want to consume Spartan content, Spartans Illustrated is the place for you, and we're happy to partner with Spartans Illustrated. So make sure to follow along over there. Follow and subscribe to our podcast as well on anywhere that you listen to our podcast. We'd love to continue to get this out to more and more Spartan fans because our motto really is MSU sports should be for everyone, and that's what we are here to do. We kind of sort of have a emergency podcast today. We were kind of on the fence if we were going to record this evening, and then some certain news broke this afternoon. So we're going to get right into that to get started.
Yeah, I was going to say, Spartans Illustrated has you covered with all the news, and I'm going to be quite frank, I wish we had a little less news to go over today. So I'm going to be the ignorant Spartan fans, but you guys don't have to be. There was a statement released today from the Michigan State president and athletic director Jay Batt about abdicating wins because of recruiting issue in the past. Like, did we know this was coming? Was this like a concern? Am I just like totally out of the loop, or is this a blindside? I'm genuinely so confused.
No, those are great questions. I think the fact that Michigan State was under investigation by the NCAA was not an unknown or surprise. I know Michigan State back in April of this year reported.
That makes sense. I usually check out of sports from like April to June. So,
but yeah, they reported these said allegations to the NCAA.
Like self-reported.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're in compliance with the investigation. There wasn't really a whole lot that came out of that sense today when the news dropped, when Michigan or NCAA released their findings, released their punishments for Michigan State, and it's quite the doozy. There's a lot of thoughts and emotions and everything that comes along with this. But for those of you who maybe weren't aware, are just becoming aware of this news drop, and like you said,
confused as I am where this came from.
We're kind of just starting to get back to like good vibes in Michigan State athletics. Like I feel like we've all kind of accepted the reality of the football program, basketball, which we'll get to later in this episode. Thankfully,
we'll see that. I get things coming.
Was kind of taking over the mantle for MSU athletics, and then this drops today. And just when you think that the Michigan State football program can't get any lower, oh, trust me.
Mel Tucker comes back from the grave with just the gift that keeps on giving.
So for you guys who aren't aware or maybe haven't seen the press release or the NCAA's findings, here's just a quick synopsis of what the investigation was regarding and kind of why the punishments or what the punishments are for Michigan State. So the parties, meaning Michigan State and the NCAA, agreed that a former staff member arranged for and provided impermissible recruiting inducements and benefits. Is that a word? Inducements? And unofficial visit expenses, and engaged in impermissible contacts with prospective student athletes. So that was
So what does that actually mean, Jonah?
So that basically means that Michigan
explain this to me like I'm
State was paying recruits and said recruits' families to come visit on non-official visits. So,
which literally non-official means the school's not paying for it.
Yes, so it's not.
They made unofficial visits official in a way, but they weren't actually official.
Yes, and the
how many recruits?
I believe it was 3 recruits that then ended up coming to Michigan State and then were deemed ineligible.
3 recruits.
For the time they played, which was from 2022 up until last year, the first year of Jonathan Smith. The two staff members directly involved in this were former general manager Saeed Khalif and former pass rush specialist Brandon Jordan. So
all coaching staff that are no longer.
Yes, they were both gone, I believe, by the time Tucker was gone. But Khalif was kind of the general manager for the team. So all like compliance and recruiting kind of siphoned through him versus Mel Tucker. So even though like Mel Tucker isn't like the direct staff involved because he wasn't looking at oversight of compliance with NCAA rules, specifically around recruiting and eligibility, he was also included on the punishments for what Michigan State received. So now let's get to the fun part. What Michigan State's
just keeps getting
punishments are. So starting off, 3 years of probation, which essentially means that if more things happen while Michigan State is in probation, there's going to be worse punishments.
Okay.
It's going to be worse.
Like they got to close their eye on Michigan State.
Yes.
Not a bad thing because clearly those individuals did things that you aren't supposed to do.
Right. A financial penalty of $30,000 plus 1.5% of the budget for the football program.
For how long? Or just like a one-time fee, like 30,000 plus.
I believe the financial punishments are a one-time fee.
Great. Just can afford to lose some money.
Yeah, it's a great time to lose money when we're trying to find money for some other important things. Restrictions now for the next 3 years for both official and non-official visits. So now Michigan State
gonna have a harder time recruiting. They can bring like less people in.
I'm not sure if it starts this year or next year, but basically 2 less weeks they're able to bring commits on for official visits, and the following 2 years will be 1 less week that they're allowed to bring visitors on official.
Because let's punish future teams for the actions of whatever.
Right. Okay. And current/future staffs who weren't involved in this at all either. And then that goes down by 1 week for the, like I said, following 2 years. And then for unofficial visits, they're limited to now only 12 weeks of being able to have unofficial visitors.
Okay.
And now the worst part of the punishment is that Michigan State will having to vacate all 14 wins from 2022, 2023 under Mel Tucker, Harlan Barnett, and 2024 under Jonathan Smith.
So Michigan can...
Yep. No, yeah. That's what everybody's thinking.
But we're not going to go there because, like, as much as I want to, because the hypocrisy is absolutely asinine. Like, actually asinine. Like, that's exactly what the friends in Ann Arbor do. Anytime that there is scrutiny, like, on their own team when they've actually done things wrong, they just want to say little brother and bring up everything that's happened at Michigan State. And I don't know a single Michigan State fan who hasn't completely owned the crapshoot that was the Mel Tucker era.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, this is just more proof of it. Like, as much as this sucks, I'm not going to sit here and dispute it.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point in doing that? I'm not going to be one of those people that buries my head in the sand. What I am going to call out is the freaking hypocrisy from the NCAA, which is infuriating. And also, like, again, totally understand. Actually, no, I don't totally understand because it's 3 recruits and you're making them abdicate all previous wins.
When they played in the,
Also, I don't know what makes me more sad that we have to abdicate them or the fact that we only had 14 wins across 3 seasons.
Yeah, and honestly, like, who cares that we have to vacate wins under 3 seasons where Michigan State didn't make bowl games, But like you said, it's just like the principle and the precedent that's been set where over and over and over again.
Does that mean we have to abdicate the win against Central Michigan when Connor Stallions was on?
Yes, that is correct.
This is literally comical. It's actually comical.
So
How is this real life?
The thing is, you don't vacate losses in this instance. So even though it's not necessarily his fault, there's no indication that Jonathan Smith had any indication that said player was ineligible last year. It sounds like Michigan State didn't find out about these infractions until after last season.
Yeah.
It's not entirely sure when Michigan State found out. We know they reported to the NCAA back in April. But it seems that, like, even though it obviously affects last year and Jonathan Smith's win total, there's no indication at all that Jonathan Smith had any knowledge of said ineligible players / players that were part of the team last season.
Like, it feels very clear that this was prior coaching.
Right.
Whatever.
So now Jonathan Smith, in his 2 years at Michigan State, has officially 5 wins. No, he has officially 3 wins.
And
0-11 in the Big Ten. So yeah, and I was talking with some people about this today. Like, does this increase Smith's chances of coming back? Does it?
Right, that's my thought. Is like,
does it?
We already have no money to do things that we need to do.
I personally don't think this really has any bearing other than the potential financial implications of the infractions.
Right, like I can see where it's not actually like Jonathan Smith's fault.
But I also don't think this is going to be like a reason to keep him. Oh, look at the situation that he inherited. Like, that doesn't.
No, but it might be a reason to keep him because of money.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's the only maybe avenue you can look at this and say, oh, maybe this does increase the chance that Jonathan Smith comes back. But to me, like, this was when J-Bat was not around.
Right. Like, all the people involved in that at the time.
Even, I believe this would have been before.
And when did J-Bat come on as athletic director?
June, July.
So they even self-reported all this before Bat.
Right. And I believe this has also occurred before Gutzowitz was president as well. In my opinion, and we don't have to harbor on this for that long,
because like to be done with this.
I think we need to move on to
we can only handle so much football depression.
Positive things. But I think, like, Michigan State just needs to do everything possible to, like, get rid of influences and flavors of what this previous regime brought into the football program. And again, I don't even think that Jonathan Smith is a scapegoat because the on-field performance the last 2 years has been still so bad. But, like, I think J-Bat and President G just need to have bring their own guys in, start this program their way, their process, trust it. Might be a bumpy road to start.
I mean, there's literally been nothing good since D'Antonio. Let's be honest.
We'll always have 2021 in our hearts.
We had Kenneth Walker. Yes. But that doesn't have anything to do with anyone other than the fact that Kenneth Walker is a beast.
Right. So at least those wins weren't vacated. We'll still have that victory over Michigan and the Peach Bowl win.
That. Okay, that's
so I'm glad it was just through or started in 2022.
The fact that we have to abdicate wins and other people don't. It's like more like fodder for the.
It just shows how much of a joke the NCAA is.
Just like follow the money trail, like
has always been. And when you have power and influence and money and cry like whiny babies, then nothing happens to you.
Political influence too. Like, there's a reason why how many Michigan senators wrote letters that players not be punished for, what was it, actions from was it from the tunnel incident? Whatever. We don't need to go there. But historically, there have been multiple senators who went to bat for U of M. And
I think maybe that's the one critique I'll say. And who knows, like, if Michigan State would have fought this, I wouldn't be surprised if the NCAA would have found more dirt and crap that happened.
Okay, totally owning that, right? Like, because this is the thing that ticks me off about other people is, like, your school messed up. own it. Like, as fans, none of us want that. None of us want underhanded dealings for recruits. I mean, maybe there's some of you out there who do, but like, nobody wants that. But I guarantee you it's happening at every school. And you put any school under a magnifying glass at some point in their history with some athletic director or some NCAA person who's supposed to follow the rules, general manager, or some head coach, or some Connor Stallions assistant to the regional manager. Like, you would be able to find that level.
Right. I know just recently, a couple weeks ago, Maryland coach Mike Loxley, talking about one of his own commits, was saying that other schools were trying to pay said recruits to visit their school. So, like, this isn't an isolated Michigan State event. And it's just like, okay, Michigan State.
This should be the punishment that's rolled out for every kind of infraction. And instead, you just see who's getting.
There's no consistency. There's no precedent. And when Michigan State does the quote unquote right thing in self-reporting these infractions, they get the far worse punishment than schools who fight these allegations tooth and nail. But yeah. Anyway, so that happened today. So it's to be remain to see what the continued ramifications of that will be moving forward for this football program. But it's pretty low.
Like, let's check back on the football program in 3 to 5 years, and we'll just accept for the next bit, and anything positive in the next 3 to 5 years is going to be extra positive. That was my mentality early in the season, walking out of the Boston College game and seeing that performance and saying, we're going 3-9. We're going 3-9, because it was easier for my heart and mind to like be I can't even say pleasantly surprised or happy with getting one more win above 3, because that's just pathetic. Sorry. Sassy Abby's coming out tonight. But it's just, I'm just going to tell myself that we're going to check back with the football program in 3 to 5 years. I need other people to not do that. I need you guys to like invest in the football program and like do things to get it to a point where it's good in 3 to 5 years. But for my little broken heart right now, it needs to be.
Please save us, J-Bat. Please save us, Magic Johnson. Please save us, Matt Ishbia. Please save us, millionaire, billionaire, donors. This is just a complete and utter joke of a football program right now, and has been for quite some time. And no real brighter days or brighter horizon to be seen right now. So
here's what I'm going to say. We bleed green and white. We are not bandwagon fair weather fans. As much as it sucks, like, we're going to own that about our program and say the things that suck and the things that were messed up. And again, not pretend like they just don't exist and belittle anybody else who tries to bring them up by changing the subject and doing all the other things. So if you're a Spartan fan, because it's so tempting to do that, because the hypocrisy, again, is wild. Like, just own it. Kill them with kindness. And then we can talk about Michigan State basketball here in a second.
Yeah.
But first, we are coming out of a bye week. Michigan State football is back at home at Spartan Stadium this week. Ooh, they might be the only people in the stadium. Just kidding. Is Milivojevic going to be back starting QB this week? You think Aiden Childs? Like, what is the state of the team at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the team is still as together as they can be.
They exist. Completely disbanded.
It's going to be an interesting week for sure. I know Jonathan Smith this week in his kind of media availability talked about how kind of both quarterbacks were battling. I don't see it anywhere you can now go back to Childs after the performance that Milivojevic had 2 weeks ago against Minnesota. So, like, I think they'll end up going with Milivojevic. I think there's, like, a conversation to be had, like, maybe in certain situations you can use Childs, like, maybe when you're closer to the red zone. Like, we've seen that Childs can't make things happen.
Attack,
Right. Like, the reality is, like, this team, even though, like, from an outside perspective, like, nobody expects it of them. Like, you're still quote unquote fighting for a bowl game. So, like, you need to be able to
fighting for some scrap of dignity,
right?
Like,
and this coaching staff is fighting for their job, so like they're going to have to do anything and everything to show that they deserve another shot. So I wouldn't be surprised, like if maybe we see Milivojevic get the start, get the majority of the reps, but then in certain situations maybe get Childs. It's gonna be an interesting game. They host Penn State, who just a couple weeks ago, or about a month or so ago, was number 2 ranked team in the country. Has since, like Michigan State, lost 6 in a row. They fired their coach. Their starting quarterback is out for the year. So this is a team on paper
fairly similar, except Michigan State did not start at number 2.
Yes.
So we have not as far to fall.
I will say that
looking for the silver.
If you're looking for a silver lining, same record for both these teams in conference play in total, but Michigan State has a victory over a Power 4 team, and Penn State does not. So, Michigan's
Boston College Power 4 team.
Technically, by a conference affiliation alone. But yeah, this is an equally as dismantled, distraught, chaotic Penn State team as Michigan State. I think the difference between Penn State and Michigan State is on paper, Penn State still has quite a lot of talent.
Yeah.
So I think like unless Penn State completely just rolls over on its back and gives up, like I don't see really a path for Michigan State winning this game. I know if you look last week, Penn State was 1 centimeter of a toe away from upsetting Indiana. They still took Oregon to overtime.
Right, their strength.
A lot of their games too, like have been like very winnable games that could have easily swung in their favor. But I think what's really going to come down to this is if Penn State comes out and they're motivated and they want to win this game, they will win this game.
Yeah,
I think pretty comfortably.
Well, and have you seen the Spartans motivated yet this season?
I mean, I would say against Minnesota, there was some
Alessio, and the defense motivated.
So it's going to be very interesting to see like what versions of these teams show up to what levels. But if effort and motivation is equal or even close, I think Penn State probably wins this game pretty comfortably.
I'd agree with that.
But yeah, it's the battle of the unwinned teams in the Big Ten.
Battle of the defeated.
Yeah, the battle of the 6-time defeated Big Ten teams.
Okay. But I'm literally, my brain is going to melt out of my skull if we keep talking about it.
Wouldn't it be so fun to have that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful land grant trophy back in East Lansing?
Sure.
It's the most beautiful trophy in all of college football.
All right, we're going to turn our attention to happier things. Halftime updates. Because other Spartan sports are killing it. And they killed it this weekend.
Yeah.
Michigan State hockey took on number 3, Penn State. At Mun.
Yep.
Friday night, Saturday. Against what you mentioned last week, a top recruit that swung to Penn State instead of Michigan State. And guess what? They told them where it was at. They punished that boy. They won both games this weekend. I'm really bad at these halftime updates.
You're great.
One in overtime, correct?
Yeah.
Friday night's game. And then just absolutely punished Penn State on Saturday, 5-3.
5-0. 5-0.
5-0?
Yep. Shut up.
Okay, it was more of a punishment than I thought. Just absolutely dominant on the ice. Still remain number 1.
Yeah. And also they're now unanimously number 1.
Heck yeah. I love it. In the Big Ten and in the country.
Yep.
Amazing. Your women's soccer team went to the Big Ten championship and they made a PK in the first half after a penalty in the box to go up 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the Washington Huskies responded also early in the first half, and then it was a draw from the rest of the game out, including overtime period, sending it into penalty
Two
shots.
overtime periods.
2 overtime periods, thank you. Sending it into penalty shots, shootout. Just absolutely brutal getting to watch that shootout. MSU's goalie, freshman Noelle Henning, put up such a phenomenal effort. I mean, she went to the right place, just barely at the wrong time with every single shot. And the Huskies ended up putting up 4. Michigan State missed their first, hit their second, missed their third. And then because Washington shot first, they put away that 4th goal and sealed the championship win. I mean, big credit to the Huskies. Shootouts are electric. They're crazy. There's a lot for that freshman goalie to be able to put out the performance that she did. From my, high school, homeschool, I'm outing myself here, soccer days. The one thing that I learned is that you put it low and in the corner, and they didn't put it low in the corner. I don't know if that's any bearing.
Yeah, I mean, these shootouts, anything can happen. Obviously, with Washington got the better of Michigan State, but the season is not over for the soccer team as they are now number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, their highest seed ever.
That's amazing.
Michigan State will host that first round
heck yeah.
against University of Milwaukee this Friday, November 14th at 6 p.m. at the Martin Stadium.
I'm not telling you that if you need to pick a Spartan athletic to attend this weekend, that it should be the women's soccer game, but maybe it should be the women's soccer game.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to be able to host those playoff games in East Lansing. Yeah. So I'll be excited to see how the women do, if they can reach the College Cup and have some success there. So continue to tune in to the women's soccer team.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other halftime updates? Michigan State women's basketball picked up another win. Didn't score 125 points. Come on, girls.
Only 93.
Only 93. Jeez.
Against Eastern Michigan. So, yeah. Averaging still over 100 points a game.
Love it.
2 games so far as they continue to roll. But they are not the only undefeated basketball team.
Heck no, they aren't. Launching into our basketball segment?
Yeah, so let's talk hoops.
Oh my gosh, what a game on Saturday. Still, I had to work this weekend, and I went, we won Saturday night. I was so happy, so thrilled, roll out of bed the next morning. I'm groggy. I'm not really thinking about anything beyond like get to work, get my coffee, chart review my patients, do the things. And it was probably like 11 a.m. noon. And I was like, oh, Michigan State beat Arkansas last night. Heck yeah. It was so good.
Yeah, it was a very fun game, an electric Breslin Center. Just a real treat to have that kind of game, that kind of environment.
On November 8th?
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? That did not feel like a November game. Mm-hmm. That felt at least like a January, February game.
Yeah.
Fantastic effort from both teams. It wasn't just like, oh, this one player went off and then these other guys were, dead weight that we were dragging. Like, from both sides, Arkansas and Michigan State, like, total team effort. The Spartans just grounded out and got the win.
Yeah, and I thought going in this game was to be a tough game for Michigan State. Just like, it kind of just feels like one of those Michigan State teams that, like, by the end of the year, they're going to have it figured out, but like struggle in some of these.
Can they have it together games
early
too?
Season, big games. Yeah. And really from the get-go, they came out with energy and effort and like execution. And really like stay in this game for the whole game. And then
40 minutes.
Obviously went into halftime trailing by 3, but then got the lead back and then kind of controlled things more or less. Didn't give up the lead again once they got it in the second half. So yeah, just a all-out team effort from Michigan State. Like, we're getting Tom Izzo fist bumps and hyping up the crowd in November, which is just like, what is happening?
Yeah. You gotta love it. And I mean, you cannot talk about Michigan State coming out and playing with energy without talking about freaking Cohen Carr. I mean, we talk about this kid all the time being explosive on his dunks. That kid, especially for the first 5 to 7 minutes of the game, was explosive everywhere.
Yeah.
I think every play on the ball for the first couple of minutes, like Cohen was there in some aspect. 8 out of the Spartans' first 10 points were either assisted or scored by Cohen Carr.
Yeah.
First points of the game are a huge slam that just gets the whole Breslin Center absolutely rocking. And then that kid is hustling his little booty cheeks back down the court and getting defensive rebounds, diving on the floor after balls, ripping things away from the Arkansas players. Like, I just kept being like, Cohen, oh my gosh, it was so good.
Yeah, it seems like with Cohen, like something new that we saw on Saturday was I feel like a lot of times, especially like last year, like he didn't start the season by starting.
Yeah.
And usually like he comes in the game, kind of feels it out.
Big energy guy.
And then like he'll let the game kind of come to him, and then all of a sudden it's like boom, there's Cohen Carr.
Like bulldozer. Like, I'm going to smack you in the teeth if you aren't paying attention right
But no, there was no feeling out things. There was no easing into it. It was like...
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of you.
Right away, Cohen Carr was just like, okay, he's here. He's everywhere. He's Cohen Carr.
And yes, like he is him. And he contains multitudes. Like he could do all the things. And I think that's the thing that was maybe like not a concern with Cohen Carr, but always just kind of felt like he's probably going to be a little bit of a explosive dimension, but one-dimensional player. Like he can get up, he can score in ways that are like very momentum swinging. He can get things in transition. He's showing everybody up. He's saying, no, I can do all the things. I can hit my free throws from the free throw line because I've been practicing them this week. I can, jump up and rip down that rebound. I can battle for this with another guy. I can play defense and not let my guy get past me. Oh, and I can sneak backdoor and put a couple slams.
And thinking about just offensively, like it's not just him getting those backdoor dunks or fast break dunks. Yeah. Like he's also like creating his own
half-court offense, which is what we've been saying they desperately need. Sorry. I'm just so excited. I can't.
No, you're great. I mean, yeah, all those things are true. Like he's creating for himself. Yes. He's not just like relying on like guys like Jeremy Fears to get him the ball. He's not just creating things in like the fast break, like it's in the half court as well.
I genuinely didn't understand how he still had air in his lungs after those first 5 minutes. I'm like, you have not stopped to breathe the entire time this game has been going.
Yeah, and I think that version of Cohen Carr, 14 points, 10 rebounds, something like that.
I don't think he had a double-double. It was close.
Maybe 14 and 8, something like that. But like that version of Cohen Carr, who's just like, and like if you think about it, he missed a very large portion of the second half with foul trouble.
Yes.
And if he can not be in foul trouble
and have that big of an impact
throughout the course of a game, like that just raises Michigan State's ceiling quite a lot. And like not only is he's not going to be just the highlight reel player, like he's going to be a guy who's on like potentially all Big Ten lists, potentially like, not saying he's going to be an All-American, but that version of Cohen Carr on Saturday was an All-American.
Yes, absolutely. And just so clear, right? Like thinking about what needed to improve from Colgate, I feel like pretty much across the board, the whole team took those things to heart. Like Tom said, like on Tuesday after Colgate, he was like, I'm not thinking about anything beyond tomorrow's practice. And it's clear that he had those boys locked in last week because, like I said, across the board effort from every single player was amazing. And something that I just continue to love about Tom, and everybody, especially the national commentators, love to talk about how Michigan State can't hit the three. Oh, guess what their shooting percentage from three was last year? Oh, they struggled shooting the three last year, and then they shoot 0% in the first half. We're over it. Like, stop talking about it. Shots are going to fall. It's going to happen. Like, it's not an issue. That team went to the freaking Elite Eight last year. Like, let's stop measuring teams by how much their shots fall. And this is where I'm agreeing with Tom, where analytics in that sense suck. Because, Michigan State was 0 for 6 in the first half from three or something, and they beat Arkansas.
Finished 1 for 14. They shot 7%.
And I know you love Nate Oates and his, throwing up three and like lots of, high free 3-point percentage, but I call BS.
Yeah, and obviously, like everybody wants to see that percentage increase, like. But the fact that Michigan State, while shooting 7% from three,
that's what we ended the night on.
Yeah, 1 for 14.
That is hilarious.
The fact they were able to do that and still come away with the victory against, I think, a very good Arkansas team.
That's actually insane. I did not realize.
This shows you like what the ceiling of this team can be if their 3-point shooting is even average.
Yeah. So we singled out Cohen Carr, and in my mind, I'm just picturing like, little handshake emoji of Cohen Carr and freaking Cam Ward. Oh my gosh, that kid stepped up in the biggest way possible. I think he had 18 points, 13 rebounds. Does that sound right to you?
I think it was just 10 rebounds.
Okay, either way, kid got a double-double.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure at least 50% of his points were slams.
Yeah, I think he had 5 dunks.
Which is absolutely insane. And it wasn't just his offensive, effort. Like he was, again, like Cohen, kind of everywhere. And for a true freshman, one, the kid is built. I do not understand. Two, like, and this is where I'm saying the same thing from Jordan Scott, like, gonna shout him out again. Like, these guys are not playing like true freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. And it's the second game of the season.
And it's not just against
what Tom's putting in the water. I don't know what he's putting. Well, I do know what he's putting in his motivational speeches. It's a lot of curmudgeonly absolute gold. But I love this team and I love the mentality that they are showing. It's, as we've talked about, like continued unselfish play, letting the guys who are, go off and support them and flex, right? Like Cohen was it in the first, 10 minutes. Cam Ward was it for the next 30. You know what I mean? Like that sort of like give and take between the team, managed at the helm by amazing Jeremy Fears. Like he just continues to lead the team so well, and his energy and effort and defensive prowess just, I think, helps set everyone else up for success.
Yeah, and I kind of want to come back to the freshmen, but your point on like unselfish play, like you have a guy like Jeremy Fears, who's your leader, who just came off of a double-double in the first game against Colgate, and he didn't make a shot from the field on Saturday, but in no way at all did that affect his performance in the rest of these areas. He's still getting 9 assists. He is still drawing these fouls, getting into the heads of Arkansas players, playing great defense, pestering these guys. And like that just speaks to the unselfishness where Jeremy Fears can say, even though my shots aren't falling, even though I'm not scoring, that is not going to affect the way I continue to play, because all that matters at the end of the day is the win column. Yeah. And that showed, and that just like, this guy is a sophomore. Yeah. And he's showing this kind of leadership, this ability to just kind of take over. And like, I think that was one of the best Jeremy Fears performances that we've seen, even though he didn't make a single field goal. And I think, even like, I'll call myself out on this last season. Like, I think I was one of the people that was like, can Jeremy Fears just like, please make a couple more shots a game? Like, can he do something? But I'm realizing like, again, shots are going to fall when they fall. And I don't know that we even need him to be that guy. Like, he can do so much. And I think it's just like that flippin' mentality of the whole Spartan basketball program and the guys on this team who have bought into Tom's mentality and model is that it's always about winning first. And that exactly what Jordan Scott said. And the fact that he knows this as a true freshman, like, it doesn't matter that my shots aren't falling. My next thought is, what can I do to help my team? Like, I'm paraphrasing him there, but that was like literally his response after the Colgate game of like, I'm going to get out there and hustle. I'm going to get rebounds. I'm going to create space. Which we continued to see from him, like getting back to the freshman. Sorry, I'm all over the place because I get so excited. Like, he just continued to do that on Saturday night, creating space. He had like that beautiful setup play. You call that a horn? Yeah. Something? The horn action. Yeah, there you go. Come up top. Yeah. That term. We can cover that in a future Spartan seminar. Pulling his defender with him just beautifully, like settling the play, creating the opportunity for, was it Cohen Carr that ended up, or Cam Ward that ended up getting like a backdoor? No, it was him that got it was him? Backdoor, yeah. He came all the way around on that one? Yeah, he came all the way around, kind of got the screen and got the... Even better than I thought he was. Backdoor layup. It's so refreshing. It's so nice because I think, and I'm getting excited even thinking about next year, like, we've had recruits that it's been like, okay, they're going to develop next year, or like, Michigan State is known for having a lot of like
4-year players, which is amazing in and of itself, but you got to invest some time into them for them to get to a place where they should be. I mean, example, Jackson Kohler and Carson Cooper, like they have taken a while to get to where they are, but it's so fun to have a couple of true freshmen who are already like, and not these like crazy NBA level talent coming into the year. You know, this isn't like a Jaren Jackson Jr. where you know he's coming in and like gonna be insane, but they are playing with the mentality that the Spartans love to play with, and it benefits everyone else's game.
And they're not trying to do too much. They're playing within themselves. I mean, you think you saw with some of Arkansas freshmen who are those NBA level guys trying to do a little bit too much at times, playing a little selfishly and costing their team a potential victory. But you got these guys like Cam Ward and Jordan Scott who kind of know themselves, are playing within themselves, playing to their strength. And when you can get 24 points and I think 16 combined rebounds between those two guys in a game against Arkansas from true freshmen, like that's incredible.
In the second game of the year, like I still can't get that through my head that it's November and we just played a game like that. And I'm not like getting my hopes way up high. Like I know that we've got Kentucky coming in New York City next week. We've got North Carolina coming up in Florida. And then we've got Duke at home. Like I'm, riding at a spot. And I'm going to be honest. Like I think I told you this right after the game because I didn't want to admit it to myself before the game because it felt like bad juju. Like I thought that Michigan State could beat Arkansas. I thought that there was like a possible timeline in which Michigan State won that game, but I did not think they were going to. Like I was fully kind of like mentally prepared for it to be a loss and it be like a great learning experience and, the Spartans to learn things about themselves. When we won, I was like over the freaking moon. So I'm taking that. I'm enjoying it, but I'm also still kind of like approaching the rest of November and December with that kind of mentality of like, this is only a positive growth opportunity for the Spartans. And if we get wins out of it, heck yeah.
Right. I think that's a great point. I think if we think about those 4 games you mentioned, including Arkansas, like you don't want to go through that stretch though still like 0-4, in those games. Right. And I think Arkansas being at home early in the season is probably like one of the most gettable of those. So I think it's really big that they got those. That way when Duke comes to town in November and they have losses to Arkansas, North.
Hey now.
No, I'm saying like if they would have had there would have been a lot more pressure to like get that win. But now if you win,
there's still pressure to get that win
against Kentucky or North Carolina.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
There's not as much pressure. Okay, we can't lose.
It feels like we've gone up against 4 top 25 teams and all 4 of them have been lost.
Yeah, so it's great getting that first one in the win column. Super excited to see them in action against Kentucky next Thursday. Tuesday?
Don't tell me. I think it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Now that it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Trust me.
Yep. But we'll see them in action before then on Tuesday. They're back home at Breslin Center against San Jose State, who's coming into this game 0-2. They had a 11-point loss to Utah, 85-74. And then they lost to Santa Barbara by the same score of 85-74.
At least they're consistent.
So not a great team coming into the Breslin Center. I mean, a game that we expect them to win probably and win handily.
Good game for Tom to continue to feel out his roster, who he can trust in some of these situations. And I think it's always so good to have some of these like lower level teams to challenge you mentally and challenge your ego, especially after a win against Arkansas and then staring down a matchup like Kentucky of like, you cannot play down to their level. And Tom is not going to accept mediocrity from this team and then playing to a level where it like just takes enough to beat them. And I think it's a good mental challenge for these guys to, hey, what can we do to better the game, even against an opponent that maybe doesn't challenge us in the same ways that another Power 4, top 25 team does.
Exactly. I think that's a huge thing to take away from this game. Like, do they come into this game sloppy? Do they play down to the level of San Jose State? Are they too caught up in the win against Arkansas and looking ahead to Kentucky where they're not focused? Like, this is an opportunity to show that, like, every single game, we're bringing in focus, we're bringing in energy, no matter who the opponent is, whether John Calipari is on the opposite bench or not. Another opportunity for these freshmen to continue to gain confidence, these shooters to maybe see more than one shot from behind the arc go in. But it's always going to be fun to see this team in action, no matter the opponent. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I think one last thing before we move on to our last tiny little segment of this episode. I love how every time we sat down today, we were like, okay, we're just going to do a really quick episode. We're just going to talk about basketball. And then all of the, you know what happened. And then just the Arkansas game was so fun. We can't shut up about it. But one thing that I just want to reflect back on from the Arkansas game was I felt like and when you look at the actual difference, I don't think it was that much of like fast break points for Arkansas versus fast break points for Michigan State. But I think it was the fast break points that Arkansas had were much more impactful. And it felt like every time there was a fast break point, it was just like they were well and gone. I feel like a lot of those came off of turnovers, like sloppy passes. How did the Spartans clean? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like that. Like, how did the Spartans clean that up? What went wrong that led to so many of those opportunities for Arkansas? What do we need to fix before facing down Kentucky?
With Arkansas, like Michigan State, they're a team that wants to get out and transition and run. Almost go to the point where they sacrifice offensive rebounding, where they don't send guys on the glass. Where Michigan State still attacks the offensive glass
to do it all.
So they were sending guys off of shot attempts for Michigan State already towards the other end of the court. And so for Michigan State, they just, I think it starts with a better awareness of that.
Where those guys are.
Who's on top of the key, whether that's Jeremy Fears or one of the other guards, like making sure they are getting back, because you have guys down low.
And there was one time later in the game when they had a primo opportunity. I think like a long missed shot from Michigan State came out to an Arkansas player, and Jeremy Fears got in his way, hustled his little booty back, and ended up being able to prevent the score.
Yeah. So I think it's just kind of an awareness of who you're playing and what they're trying to do. But Michigan State also is going to continue to battle for those rebounds, even on their own basket. So it's not something I'm overly concerned about. Like, I think like if you take those points away from Arkansas, like their half court offense, Michigan State was playing very good defense on, but they got 16 to 18 fast break points on really, really easy baskets, just because they were sending guys immediately off of Michigan State shots and getting ahead of Michigan State defense. So Kentucky's another team that's going to want to run, maybe not quite to the extent of Arkansas, but it's some of those guys on top of the key, those guards.
Like knowing the personnel, staying aware of who's in their space.
Exactly. Because you can trust your big men, your Cohen Carter, your Jackson Kohler, your Carson Cooper, to be down low fighting for those boards. It's those guards, though, who still need to get back, because it's a lot easier to then come back the other direction if you do get the offensive board than it is to see that you didn't get it and then, oh, you already got a defender at half court and it's an easy basket.
Yeah, absolutely. So last thing that we're going to wrap up with, we haven't done one of these in a little while, and it's supposed to be kind of our trademark, right? Like, we want to make Spartan sports, MSU sports for everyone. And we want you guys to all be able to engage in conversation, know what's going on in a game, not get blindsided by stuff going on. And there were two instances of Tom Izzo doing something brand new in the game against Arkansas, and that is related to a rule change related to challenges, where now coaches can challenge out of bounds.
Yeah, it's out of bounds.
Okay.
Basket interference or goaltending.
Okay.
And then whether or not a secondary defender was like in that restricted arc for like a charge call.
Which is all very like objective, like play the tapes back. You can see that he hit the glass. His foot was out of bounds. His hand was the last one on the ball. That player's in the restricted arc or not. And the way the challenge works is that you have one challenge, and if you use it successfully, you get it back again. You only ever get a max of 2. But if you lose that first challenge, you don't get it back.
Correct.
So Tom Izzo very wisely used his challenge in the first half, got that challenge back, used it again in the second half, wasn't successful. But at that point, it was kind of like, what do you have to lose? I think there was like
5 seconds
left or something. Like, you're not going to use it. You maybe have the chance to be able to put the ball back in the Spartans' hands. And it's kind of one of those things, right? We think about NFL, like indisputable evidence. You have to be able to overturn the call on the court. And I think that second one, quite frankly, was off of Arkansas, but I just don't think on film there was the right angle or evidence to overturn it. Ultimately, did not end up affecting the Spartans, but just something different that you might see in basketball now. And I think the thing that you're actually going to see change is prior, right? Like any out of bounds call under, is it 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Was like automatically reviewed to make sure that it went the right way. And I think that's now going to be done away with because the coaches have the ability to challenge, which in some ways in the moment you might be like, oh my gosh, can we stop with the challenges? But think about how much time you're saving at the end of the, under 2 minute mark when it just feels like those last 2 minutes of the game drag on and on and on. And you're like, oh my gosh, my nerves can't take this anymore. And the ref's just spinning this little thing back. So most you're going to see that happen is 4 times across the game.
Yeah, so if you saw that game on Saturday and I was like, wait, am I crazy? Like, when is this?
This is the NFL?
You're not crazy. It's brand new.
Yep.
And they're probably like most people who aren't keeping up track to every little rule change that happens in college basketball prior to the season.
And that's what you got us for.
Exactly. We're here to make sure that you've got it too. But just a helpful little seminar on this new rule that I think we'll see more often. We'll see impact games. Interesting to see how coaches use those challenges. But like you said, if you don't get the first one, you don't get a second one.
As we're sitting here wrapping up, I'm thinking about what we're going to title this episode, and I'm thinking about last week's episode, which was Hoops Heat Up and Football Goes Silent. Really wish football would have just stayed silent.
Yeah, they could have just kept...
I would have been much happier with crickets. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a Spartan fan in an era of college sports and just Spartan sports. No, not Spartan sports. All other Spartan sports are cooking. Spartan football, that just quite frankly is kind of awful at times. Thanks for not being fair weather fans. Thanks for not being bandwagon fans. We bleed green and white here. We always will. We love our teams. We love our guys. This is always about the student athletes. It's always about, just like the fun of being a fan and getting to enjoy that. College basketball, I mean, you can come fight me. Nothing brings me more joy, quite frankly. So thanks for being here for it. We appreciate you guys. As usual, find us on all the social media. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you haven't and you're watching on YouTube or you're on Spotify right now, it takes 2 little taps to leave us a nice little review, a little comment. All those things help us get out to more and more Spartan fans. Ooh, I just smacked my face on my own microphone. Thanks for being here. You can always email us too at thewegotitpodcast@gmail.com. We are going to be better. Promising this to you about getting episodes out on a regular schedule heading into basketball season. We thought we were on a good schedule in football, and then, as you know, plagued by just unending technology issues, home internet issues. We both work full time, and we don't get anything for doing this. So sometimes other things in life come first, but basketball season we're serious about. So you should be expecting all future episodes from us. Little asterisk there on Mondays, which should hopefully keep you in a good cadence for basketball season. Most of the games this season are on Tuesdays, Thursdays, or Saturdays, so should give us a good way to recap the previous week's games and also set you up for the upcoming week's games, so that you're prepared and you feel like we got it. All right. Go Green.
Go White.
Go State.